Are you attending the 2024 Payroll Congress Conference? Well, if so, you're going to want to tune into this. Today, I'm joined with very special guests for a special segment for the event. I'm sitting down with Yolanda Ramirez. She is the manager and exhibit lead at Payroll Org, aka the host of the Annual Payroll Congress Conference. We're going to be talking a little bit about what to expect at the conference itself, how to best prepare and get the most out of the event, and of course, what first timers should know going into it. Let's get right into it. Hello, everybody. My name is Meredith Gershenson. I'm a research analyst here at workforce.com, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the essential guide to the 42nd Annual Payroll Congress Conference. Workforce.com, just to give a little bit of background, is a full-service payroll software company that specializes for small businesses with shift-based staff. So Workforce works with thousands of organizations across the world to make sure their staff gets paid correctly and on time every time. And we're so excited to announce that we'll actually be an exhibitor to this year's conference at booth number 943. And we wanted to share some tips and tricks for attendees to get the most out of the event. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Yolanda Ramirez. Yolanda, thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, we're so excited. We're going to be talking a little bit about what to expect, how to best prepare and get the most out of it, and what first timers should know going into it. So Yolanda, first and foremost, I would love for you to tell me about some of the work that you do with Payroll Org, or in this case, known as the host for the Annual Payroll Congress Conference.
Sure, no problem. So I've been with Payroll Org for right over 25 years. And I've been managing the Expo conference for Payroll Org pretty much that whole entire time. I work in our vendor relations department. I'm one of two other ladies, Susan Garcia, who is our director of vendor relations, and Diane Enriquez, who is our operations manager. So the three of us work on selling exhibit space, selling sponsorships, and just in generally partnering with our exhibitors for either campaigns that they do with us for the year, or things throughout as they come up, whether it be a webinar or Paytech advertising in our Paytech magazine or websites. So any of us can assist with that.
Nice. So how long have you been managing the conference and kind of helping fill those spots generally as your day-to-day?
I would say pretty much the entire tenure that I've been with Payroll Org.
Wow.
So the full 25 years I've been had my hands in the expo for that entire time.
Amazing. So you're the perfect person to talk to when it comes to tips, tricks, little hidden secrets here and there. I love it. This is great. So in terms of, exhibitors like Workforce, how many are we expecting for this year? Like, how filled out is the conference going to actually be?
So we currently have around 75 to 80 exhibiting companies at the moment.
Wow.
And that is kind of where we're expecting to be hitting.
Nice. Okay. So in terms of what to expect, for those who might be seasoned pros at the Payroll Congress Conference, or maybe even first timers. So from previous experience on your end, Yolanda, what can one expect from the Payroll Congress Conference this year?
So I would say for an exhibiting company, they can expect great opportunities to network with our audience, and there will be opportunities for them to network one-on-one, kind of, not only inside the expo, but also there are networking opportunities that they can participate. As an attendee, obviously, we definitely want them to talk to our exhibitors, whether they're a current client of theirs, or if they're looking at possibly adding on a new service or product. There will be ample exhibitors for them to talk to. And of course, let's just say they're working with a company and they want to see what other companies are doing. Obviously, that would be their opportunity as well. Because I know there is a lot of exhibitor networking, like exhibitor to exhibitor, as well as attendee to exhibitor, that happens on the show floor.
Got it. That's a good thing to know. So in terms of any changes from, this year in 2024 to any previous years, is there anything to note that you're excited about, or anything that we should look forward to?
There hasn't been a lot of change in as far as like the programming is gone. We've made some changes as far as our global networking. That reception previously was on the third day of the expo, is now going to be on the second day of the expo. So
Got it.
that's just one of the changes there. Other than that, there really hasn't been a whole lot of changes to the program.
Got it. For me, I'm personally looking forward to the costume contest. I saw. I think that's great. I love that.
Yes. And some of them get really, really into it. I love to watch them because our audience is super creative and they can do some really fun costumes. And we have, our categories this year as well. So that I think our group will find very interesting.
Oh my God, the categories are amazing. For those that don't know what we're talking about, guys, go to the Payroll Congress website and check out their costume contest tab. It is so great, some of the ideas that people have in the categories that you can dress up as. So definitely check that out. So in terms of, key themes, topics, that sort of things that I know a lot of the speakers and keynotes are coming on to talk about, is there any, overview that you can provide for, key topics that will be covered during the conference itself?
Yes, so we do have like educational tracks. And all of this information can be found on the conference microsite, which is payrollcongress.com. And then you can click under the education tab to see the tracks that I'm talking about. And then the sessions are there as well. So we have like our our payroll thought leadership sessions. And those are sessions that some of our exhibiting companies will be teaching. And then we also have our leadership and excellence series. And then we'll have some legislative and regulatory issues as well that you will provide some updates. There's payroll management operations that they can participate in as well. And these workshops going to be on the critical and effective operations of the payroll process. And then we have our benefits and compensations track. Obviously, that's going to talk about the compliance with benefits and compensation. And then we have our global payroll tracks, which is a wide spectrum of the payroll functions, risks, and things like that, related issues for your global perspective. And then we'll have technology track. And that is obviously focusing on the technology, covering the latest on artificial intelligence, blockchain, those types of topics. Then we have a professional development track. And then we have PAYO tools. So that's giving you how you can get involved with Payroll Org, how to gain knowledge about our tools and our resources as an organization. So those are the topics that will, or education tracks that they can participate in.
And then, for first timers, what sort of advice would you have to give for those who are, attending the 42nd Annual Payroll Conference for the very first time?
I would definitely encourage them to possibly partake in our virtual orientation. That is going to be held on May the 3rd. And if they're already registered for the conference, they'll obviously get the invitation to attend for that orientation day. That is a really great opportunity for them to really it goes a little bit more into detail about what they can expect. There's also some really good articles that have been printed in Paytech. I believe the April issue had a really good first time article, as well as our Congress Today blog that has some really good articles as well.
Nice.
And it actually, there's really one article that really helps them about how to prepare for getting the most out of their experience at Payroll Congress. And there's another article about what this veteran actually does to ensure her success while she's there. So it's very interesting.
Nice. And where can one find those articles?
So those two are going to be found in our blogs at Payroll Org payrollcongress-today.
Awesome. Great. I'll have to check those out personally. So kind of going off of, first timers, those who want to prepare a little bit better, let's kind of go into this next part of the Q&A on how to prepare best, right? How to get the most out of it. So with the conference obviously approaching on May 7th, we're, as we were just saying, Yolanda, less than 25 days out, which is crazy. What are some key steps that you recommend attendees take before May 7th to ensure that they get the most out of their experience at the conference itself?
So obviously, we actually send out a lot of communication prior to Payroll Congress. So they should be receiving those communications already if they are just starting to, or if they've just registered, they should be receiving all of that communication as well. So that's going to be a really great first step for them. Obviously, taking advantage of reviewing our microsite, which is the payrollcongress.com. That has a ton of information on there for them as well. And then definitely, try and make a Congress buddy. That is really important. And then we'll have a conference app as well that they can utilize while being on site.
Nice. And what's that app called?
That's a good question, and I'm not sure. But I believe it is just called Payroll Congress.
Okay.
And they should be able to search for it. It might be under the Payroll Org Payroll Congress.
Okay, great. We'll link it down in the description below, if anything. Perfect. Great. And then are there any pre-conference materials? You kind of touched on this a little bit, but are there any materials or resources available for those who are registered or even not registered yet and maybe planning on it, kind of on the fence, that they should check out beforehand?
Yes. So obviously our microsite for the conference would be a great starting place. And if they haven't already registered, we actually have like a letter that they can provide to their boss, like just like a little letter that they can tweak to request attending our conference. I think that would be a great opportunity for them.
Nice. And we kind of touched on the networking aspect of these conferences. Obviously, it's just a big part of conferences in general. How do you recommend an attendee prepare for, the networking opportunities to come?
That is a good question, especially if this is their first time. We do have like on-site, besides the orientation that will be done virtually on-site, we have like a meet and greet that is held on Monday. Definitely think that would be a great place for them to kind of begin their networking with their peers and things like that. That should be Tuesday morning. I believe there's going to be coffee provided there, maybe some light refreshments and stuff like that morning. And I think that would be a great place for them to try and find someone that has similar interests as them.
To close out, are there any, if you had to narrow it down to one or two top tips, actions, or takeaways that our audience can leave with to kind of better prepare for the Payroll Congress Conference, what would those be?
Definitely take advantage of, reading those articles and things. That way, go to the blog, our Congress Today blog page. That is also, they can link to it from our microsite as well. I think just really kind of delving into that. If they know anyone that has been to Congress in the past, talk to them and see what their response is. But I know, I believe it was Gretchen who wrote how she prepares for Congress.
Awesome.
So that's interesting. And she's the best. So she will be presenting as well. So.
Absolutely. No, that's great. That's a really good tip to know. And I'll definitely have to check out those posts. I will be sure to link the articles also in the description below with that app as well. Mm-hmm. And Yolanda, thank you so much for coming on. This has been super, super helpful. I know a lot of people, those who are seasoned pros from first timers, are going to get a lot of use out of this. I know I will. So thank you so much for coming on and talking with us for a little bit.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.